All right, so we're here on our Mac and we're going to look at how to find this IP address. What is an IP address? Well, every single computer in the world, every computer and every phone, every tablet, even if you've got like an Apple TV, some smart TVs have all got what's called an IP address. Now on your Mac, the way you can find it is if you go into your system preferences. You may have it here on your dock. If not, you can go to the Apple logo on your top left corner of your Mac, just up here, and you can go into System Preferences in there as well. It'll both take you to the same location. Once you have System Preferences open, you can go into Network, just in here. Now you'll see that under Network, I've got a couple of things, a few options here. I've got Wi-Fi, and I've got some other connectors in here. Now, it depends really on what your computer, how your computer is connected to your network. So how is your computer connected to the internet? If you're on Wi-Fi, then you'll find your IP address under the Wi-Fi settings. If you've got one of those blue network cables or a network cable plugged into the side of your Mac, you'll also have an option in here called Ethernet, and that may be green, and that will be the option where you can find your IP address for that device. Now under Wi-Fi, you'll already see that it says right here, Wi-Fi is connected to this particular network and has an IP address of 172.16.1.1. So that is your IP address, nice and easy. Now let's just get into a few of the technicalities. If you click on Advanced, TCP IP, just here, you'll see that in here you'll actually see some more information regarding your IP address. There are two main types of ways that a computer can get an IP address. This may not be relevant to you, so if this is too technical, you may not want to continue, but if you're interested in knowing, this is essentially how it works. There's what's called a static IP address and a dynamic IP address. What a static IP address is you going into your computer and manually putting an IP address in here, which you see that we've actually put in manually, hence configure IPv4 manually. I've put in the IP address. So I've told this computer, this is what I want your IP address to be. And I've gone ahead and I've put it in here. I need to know what the subnet mask is, which will generally be this range. It could be different, but generally it's 255.255.255.0, and then your router or your gateway. It's the same thing. So a lot of the time, this will be pointing to your router at home, maybe your modem, and this will be the IP address of your router, okay? By doing manually, you can also go into DNS and put in some DNS settings in here. So the DNS is essentially how your computer needs to know how to resolve an IP address to a computer name and be able to get information off the internet. But in simple terms, an IP address essentially, you've got your computer maybe called My Mac, and the IP address of 172.16.1.1 is the IP or the number that will correspond to your computer name, which is My Mac. Okay, so this is a static IP. A lot of the time, most people will not have to go in and do this manually, right? The setting could be under using DHCP. So what DHCP does is when you turn your computer on, most of the time, most people have this configured, it will go out onto your network and try to find some sort of system, some sort of device somewhere that is dishing out IP addresses, okay? Which is what we'll call a DHCP server, okay? So there's probably your router at home could be running this thing called DHCP, and when your computer gets on the network, it goes and looks on your network and says, oh, look, I found a router on your network, your modem, your router, perhaps your Wi-Fi router. And then that router will then give your computer an IP address. Okay, so what will happen is under here, it may be set to using DHCP, and under IPv4, it'll just have your IP address listed in there, but you won't be able to edit it. The only way you can edit it is by actually going into this option here, manual address, or to set manually altogether. Okay, but that is how you find your IP address quite simply by navigating through this console. Okay, nice and easy. There is a way to do it through the command line. You can use this thing called terminal, but we're not going to go through that. So quite simply, If we go through that again, system preferences, network, and there it is. You select your active network, right? So the one that is green, and that is your IP address from your Mac.
So if you found that video helpful, please like it and subscribe to my channel Digital by Computing just on the button there for more videos.